ਸੋ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਰਿਲੀਜੀਅਸ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ। ਅੱਜ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਧਾਰੀਆ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਸਪਿਰਿਚੁਅਲਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਟੀਚਰ ਹਨ। ਦੁਨੀਆ ਭਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੰਗੇ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਬਣ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਅੱਜ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਈ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ। ਦੁਨੀਆ ਭਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੰਗ, ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੜਾਈਆਂ, ਸਮਾਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਡਰੱਗਸ, ਵਾਇਲੈਂਸ, ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਚਿੰਤਤ ਹਾਂ। ਪਰ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਧਰਮ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੇਧ ਦੇ ਸਕਦਾ ਸੀ। ਅੱਜ ਧਰਮੀ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਨੂੰ ਖਵਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਕੀ ਕਾਰਨ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਇੰਪੈਕਟ, ਉਸ ਦਾ ਅਸਰ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੇਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲ ਰਿਹਾ। ਆਓ ਇਸੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਧਾਰੀਆ ਤੋਂ। ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਅਖੀਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਸਮ ਅਪ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ। Thank you. So Dharia, what we find today, there's a big global crisis going around. Today also we are finding lots of wars going on. In regions, people are not adjusting with each other. Everybody wants to trumpet against other person, gangs, violence.
Yes.
That peace, what we talk about, is not visible. What do you feel? What's the reason for this? And how can we come back and understand who we are?
For sure. Well, I think that at this point of time, what's happening on this earth is that there's going to come a great global change. And hopefully that change will start in the hearts and minds of humanity. However, any purification process is going to look messy in the beginning, as all the negativity or whatever must be purified begins to come out full force.
Right.
So, for example, if humanity is to become an enlightened race, a benevolent race, which we all hope and pray for, then all of the negativity, violence, all of these things need to live themselves out or die themselves out.
Okay.
So I think with the youth, it's a bit of a different question, because youth in this world has been largely misguided by media, schools, and a lot of other things.
Right.
And therefore, the ideals that we set for the younger generations are probably not ones that will guide them into the most positive ways of thinking and living.
Right.
So as I guess leaders of this world, we need to think about what message we are giving to the youth, because they are going to be the future of this world.
Right.
And at the same time, how not to allow the negative things happening in this world to affect them. Yes.
Right. So when you say what kind of message should go, it's not the right message which is going out, and whatever is being told, it's not impacting them. So what do you find? Where is that difference? That we are not being able to touch the nerves. A lot of lip service is being paid today. I think that the kind of religious theology which is being propagated all around the world, probably with the advent of internet and media, I think it's at its peak today. But despite that, why is it not reaching the people, or why are the people not ready to separate?
Well, I think that the people that are being reached, for sure, I see a very great growth happening in humanity and in human consciousness. Each time that I come back from the Himalaya to this world, I see that you have grown or evolved one step higher. However, this will not go, of course, for everybody in this world.
Right.
And the disturbances that we see happening in this world today is largely due to separation, right? Because at some point of time we decided to draw imaginary lines upon this earth and say, you're American and I'm Canadian, or something like this, Russian, Ukrainian. So I think because these ideas are rooted in ignorance, so basic falsehood, therefore any actions resulting from this falsehood or these ideas are going to be destructive. They're not going to bring greater happiness, but greater suffering. Humanity needs to see this. We need to see what is war, why does war happen? Because at some point of time we separated each other. Instead of saying we live on one planet, we're one family, we're a human family, we started differentiating ourselves, and this is where fighting begins. Instead of supporting each other, we're killing each other. And this should bring great pain, and we should see how much pain it brings, so that we will stop that altogether.
So how to come out of this ignorance? Now that's what the question is. When we talk about the ignorance which is prevailing, we consider ourselves to be the most smartest people moving around in the times of since humanity has evolved. So where is that, where do you feel that ignorance and that smartness, there is a, it's a two-edged sword, I would say. At one
Yes,
side is
yes,
an
yes.
extreme ignorance, and the other
Yes.
side we claim ourselves to be the most knowledgeable people.
Well, you see, what I always say is that if humanity spent as much time developing themselves
Right.
as they develop technology, we would not need airplanes, we will be levitating, we will be, right?
Right.
We would not even need cell phones. So in a way, we did evolve very greatly into a certain way.
Ji.
However, I will not say this is the highest way, and I will not say this is the highest knowledge.
Right.
Because even in the Vedas, which were written 4,000 years ago, it's in detail described about the atom,
Right.
which was just recently, right? So I believe there is knowledge and ancient knowledge and knowledge of the self, which will ultimately bring that knowledge which I speak of gyan,
Right.
Gyan and agyan. So true knowledge should come into the minds of humanity. Yes.
Now, when you talk about true knowledge, again, what is true knowledge? Because our granths, our religious scriptures, they are books where pearls of wisdom are there. And we respect them, we bow before them, we read them. But despite we knowing that these are gems of wisdom lying over there, what do you feel that why that true knowledge is not being incorporated by us in our daily life? Because ultimately, everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be
Exactly, right?
successful.
Yes,
So
yes,
how
we
to
all
bring
want
that
the
true
same thing.
knowledge into practice? What would be the practical steps, if I may ask you, that what to do so that we can reach that true knowledge?
Well, I think what is true knowledge, if I can describe it in the shortest way, is probably knowledge of the self.
Right.
Because without knowing who we are, basically, and what we're here for, we cannot achieve happiness.
Right.
We cannot even find our place in this world. So in order to know thyself, right, Aristotle has said, know thyself.
Right.
However, he didn't give a direction. So I say, know thyself from within.
Right.
Because it is the only place where you can get to know yourself.
Right.
And there have been millions and millions of different techniques, practices, and meditations that one can do to achieve greater knowledge of the self.
Right.
And basically what it will feel like is that you're connecting to your own soul or your center beyond name form, where
Right.
you realize that you're not just a body, but you're pure consciousness, you're pure love. In
Right.
fact, you are God, one with God. So once you begin to feel these things, or try to experience, or in the beginning even just imagine it, but it will bring you greater peace, greater realization, and greater depth. This will give you what? Greater clarity.
Right.
So that when you walk even in the streets of the world, you will see what is what.
Right. So, as you said, that greater clarity can be got if you start practicing. So, know thyself. And that's one of the most difficult things probably in today's time, because man is so busy with outer things that there's no time for oneself. So, when you say about know thyself, there must be some steps, what to start, where to start, how to start.
Well, practically, I think one thing that will, in a very physical way, connect you to yourself is your breath. So, for example, yes, we do not have that much time to be sitting in caves and meditation, but even as I'm driving, walking, or grocery shopping, I will be connecting to myself, because your voice of intuition or your soul is always within you.
Right.
And it will always be guiding you, and it will always be giving you energy or
Right.
fulfillment or satisfaction, whatever
Okay.
you like to call it. So basically, it's a practice of trying to feel joy. This is Joy TV, right? So yes, to
Right.
remind yourself to be happy, to remind yourself to be in the present moment.
Right.
Because we're so much why human beings are unhappy. Why when I walk on the street I don't see a single happy human being? Because they're in the minds. They're either thinking about the future, what they have to do, or what just happened in the past.
Right.
Never they're in the present moment where they actually are, right? So
Right.
to know thyself, you have to be with yourself. You cannot be running somewhere. You have to be right inside, living life each moment.
That's a wonderful point what you have raised, but we'll discuss in our next episode about how to live in the present moment, because our mind is running around. We are living in the past or concerned about the future. But what is happening right now, how to bring our consciousness, our awareness into the present moment, we'll discuss in our next episode. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਧਾਰੀਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਸਪਿਰਿਚੁਅਲ ਟੀਚਰ ਨੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਕਿ ਸ਼ਾਂਤੀ ਹੈ, ਜੰਗਾਂ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਗੈਂਗਸ, ਵਾਇਲੈਂਸ, ਡਰੱਗਸ, ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ, ਘਰਾਂ 'ਚ ਸਮੱਸਿਆਵਾਂ, ਪੈਸੇ ਦੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ, ਕਿਹੜੀ ਐਸੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਸ ਨਾਲ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਜੂਝ ਰਹੇ। ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਇਗਨੋਰੈਂਸ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਫੈਲੀ ਪਈ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਮਕਸਦ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡੀ ਹੋਂਦ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਚਾਨਣ ਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਚਾਨ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਉਹੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਚਾਹੇ ਉਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਣ ਨੂੰ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹੋਪ ਹੈ, ਆਸ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਵਾਪਸ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਰਿਟਰੀਟਸ ਤੋਂ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਹਿਮਾਲਿਆਜ਼ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਇਆ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਵਾਪਸ ਆ ਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਰੇ ਆਫ ਹੋਪ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਚੇਤਨਤਾ, ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੌਨਸ਼ੀਅਸਨੈਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਿਹਤਰੀ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈਗੀ। ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਮਾਂ ਹੀ ਦੱਸੇਗਾ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਚਾਨਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਦਾਂਗੇ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਦਾਂਗੇ, ਜਿਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਟੈਕਨੀਕਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ, ਤਾਂ ਯਕੀਨਨ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਸ਼ਾਂਤੀ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਮਿਲੇਗੀ। ਅਗਲੇ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਨੋ ਥਾਈਸੈਲਫ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ, ਕਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਚਾਨਣਾ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡਾ ਕੀ ਮੂਲ ਹੈ, ਕੀ ਸਾਡਾ ਮਕਸਦ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਉਣ ਦਾ, ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਸਮਾਪਤੀ। ਸਭ ਦਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।